Look at that. There's everybody.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good morning, man. How's life?
Oh, man. You know me. I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty dang good. Pretty dang good, man. Life's good. Been
Good.
busy. I'm sure like you.
Oh, no. You're probably way busier than I am.
Now this year I would say that's probably a true statement. But,
you guys mind if I use the restroom really quick before we get on?
well, I'm going to go do the same thing. I'll see you back here in about 3 minutes. How's that? I'm glad
Perfect.
you asked.
All right. Good.
All right.
Me too. All right, so kind of, Adam, so what we're going to do is we'll just here in a minute, we'll just launch it off. Chris and I are going to have some small talk, and then Chris is going to introduce you. And we're just going to go through and just have fun.
Perfect.
Just some great questions and just kind of have a deep chat, you know?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, me too. So this is fun. Thanks for coming on. And lots of fun. And if you can't influence some good stuff with others.
I'm going to switch my audio device here in just 1 second. I'm really digging the music.
Yeah, Renny found that somewhere.
Oh, where? I can't remember. Some kind of podcast free creation or pay for it and own it. Here we go. 10 seconds out.
All right.
Yeah, good morning at Renny Doyle Podcast. Chris, what's up?
Hey, I'm coming to you live from the garage again.
I like that backing so much better. Look at Adam, man. He's all fancy, dude.
Yeah, actually, I'm moving everybody around real quick, getting everybody positioned well. There we go.
Look at that, Adam. That's pretty cool looking.
Whoa, what's wrong with your background, Renny?
Yeah, I'm not gonna take it. As my daughter would say, she'll call me up sometimes, and she's like, hey, Dad, you want to show a little flex or what with that shop in the background? And I'm like, oh yeah,
The best part about that shop is that American flag hanging up there,
right? Isn't it?
Yep.
It's I come in. Oh God. Okay. Well, that's kind of ironic you say that, because I was going to mention this. I am reading one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
Okay.
246 years. It was written 246 years ago, and it's Thomas Paine, Common Sense. And if you haven't read that, I'm telling you, it tells you the mindset on how brilliant our founding fathers of America were and what they saw. And still, that book is relative to our the history of our country. Every year, all 246 years can relate back to that book.
That's one of the great things about well-written books, is that they are just timeless. They don't ever really go out of style, because there's that old saying, I forget exactly how it goes, but there are no new ideas, just new executions, or something like that.
Right.
Where every idea that you've ever come across or have ever seen or anything like that is actually just repurposed. It's just executed in a slightly different way. And so if you're smart enough, if you read a book from 240, 250 years ago, all those same things still apply today. You just have to, just kind of switch around some things.
This will tell you how common sense, how hungry our nation was to become a nation. 1776. I don't even know what the population of America was then, but we had basically 13 colonies, right?
Yep.
That book sold 150,000 copies in 3 months.
Wow.
I mean, put that in perspective of the percentage of people that bought it. And that's just amazing. And, I don't know why I didn't read it before. I've heard about it. I've kind of preached about it without knowing really what it was about, and saying, hey, man, is Thomas Paine. Well, it's ironic because my wife's maiden name is Paine. And so I don't think there's any, I don't know if there is a relation, all those people from over across the pond, So Chris, where the heck is Chris going?
Yeah, Chris is taking his own adventures.
It's telling me I'm having connection issues. So
yeah, so you're all scrambled a little bit. So
I'm writing that book down. I'm not ignoring you guys.
No, Thomas Paine, Common Sense. It's amazing. It's on. You can get the hard copy still. You can listen to it. Audible's got it on there. So if you wanted to listen to it, it's pretty cool. So so back to the American flag. Every once in a while, I walk in, and it gave me chills when you said that, Adam. Every once in a while, I walk in and I look at that, and that demonstrates everything that's in this building that's taken 30 plus years to build. That's the foundation of it.
Yep.
That's the foundation of it. And even though we've got our problems, God, we're going off on a tangent, right?
We're getting deep. We're 5 minutes in.
That's it. Hey, even though our country's facing issues, and so, listen, man, we're infants. I mean, this country is young compared to other countries and societies and everything else. We're babies, and so we're gonna go through crap, man. Just stay patient, and I think we lost Chris.
If I can,
no, I'm gonna be doing all right. Just give me a second here.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
On that comment, so one of the great privileges that I have in being a co-founder of ClarityCoat is that we do most of our business is international. 90+% of our business is international.
Wow.
And what I find very interesting is that the people in America that think that we're the only ones with these specific issues, racism, wealth inequality, whatever you want to put out there, I'm here to tell you right now, every single one of those problems exists or is even worse. Name the country, it exists there.
Absolutely.
And so it's been really interesting for me to sit there and talk to people across the world and realize that they have all the same exact issues and they've been around 10 times longer than we have. Absolutely.
I've been blessed to be in 21 different countries, and I'll tell you, there are some great countries out there. It's like Ukraine and Russia right now. It breaks my heart because I've got people and friends on both sides, and I can't keep it clean. I can't stand that governments are hurting these people. It just because I've got people on both sides that, and how cool is it that, at least in my world, how cool is it that I can be mature enough now? I don't know if I would have been 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but to see that I just won't take a side on this one. I'm pissed. I'm angry because we should be with it. Just shows you the weakness of humans. That we're just gonna fuck each other up. We are, and it gets me a little angry. Sorry, that's my one F-bomb of it.
Oh, we're only allowed to swear a little bit on this.
Yeah. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to turn. I'm trying not to do that anymore. But when people are dying, just bullshit. It's just absolute bullshit. So hey, let's go ahead and Chris, let's introduce him, and then Adam, we're going to come back, take care of some business, then we're going to go into it with you. How's that? So
absolutely,
just get people all worked up. Now that we've talked about Thomas Paine, common sense, American pride, and world peace, we can jump in.
Well, if you guys haven't been able to tell yet, our special guest today is Adam Huber. And a little bit about Adam. He started in the detailing industry back in 2015. Had a mobile detailing business that became a shop all the way up in the freezing cold South Dakota, although I'm assuming North Dakota is colder. And then, he went from that shop operation to 4 full-time employees within the span of about 3 years. But then in 2018, he sold the business and he went to work for Optimum. We know Optimum from Opticoat and all that kind of stuff. And one of the industry's favorite products is O&R. And while at Optimum, he met his current business partner, and the two decided to go out and start ClarityCoat, which I'm excited to learn a little bit more about. It's a peelable paint company is, I think, the most basic description of it. And ClarityCoat's been around since 2019, and as Adam already stated, they're international in 30 plus countries.
Wow.
So there you go.
Pretty
That's
cool.
what I got.
Well, I can't wait to dive into this. And so, Chris, been a busy, to say week, it was a crazy week.
It's been a busy exactly a week. We hit the road last Wednesday. We flew out to Buffalo, and had a little fun there, meeting with some industry partners. And then we headed down to New Jersey, on Friday morning.
Yeah.
And we went and hung out with the Detail Mafia, doing the Jersey weekend, having a little fun motorcycle detailing, and doing a little bit of vinyl graphic removal in a different way than usual.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Well, I'm happy to say we were the first Delta flight out of Ontario, California that was maskless. Did you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were the first flight out of Ontario to leave without mask, and man, that was like, I felt like I felt like Mel Gibson, in the movie Freedom, and it just felt really good to not be masked. I really wanted to paint my face half blue, and just grow my hair out long, and just kind of shout the message of freedom,
The full Braveheart thing, huh?
Full Braveheart thing. It was pretty awesome. So,
well, you know what? I'm happy to say that as far as I can tell, we did all that maskless and didn't come back with COVID.
We did not. I didn't come back with a stuffy nose or anything. So I was sitting next to some brutal people. Yeah, I won't even go there. Chris knows Daniel, the lady I was sitting next to. She was a riot, man. I was just cracking up. She had me going, and it was cool. It's come from complete different backgrounds and everything else, and she was just God. She was so. It was cool. You could see some people were still freaked out, and bless their souls, but you could see a lot of people were happy. A lot of people were really happy. So we go into it. I mean, this is starting a really crazy 6 weeks for us. It's kind of calm before the storm. So next week we have our 5-day, and then we go right into a 1-day extreme here in Big Bear. And then I've got what the hell do I have the next annual training for the Guard? And we come back. We've got on May 21st, we have extreme one-day classes happening in Scottsdale, Arizona, San Antonio, Texas, Auburn, Indiana, Long Branch, New Jersey, and Atlanta, Georgia, at all of our locations. I had to move mine and Justin had to move his because then I go back to I've got a chance to go to a advanced search and rescue program I've been waiting 30 years to go to. So we had to rearrange my schedule to handle that. And then we come back from that, go right into another 5-day training. In the next week, our daughter on Tuesday, the 31st, graduates from high school. And then on the 1st, Bob Phillips and I are taking off for Waxstock in the UK and going to go. You know, I should probably have Diane prepay for bail. I wonder if they have bail in the UK, you know?
Yeah, you're going to just need her to have you pack you some energy drinks.
Yeah, we're going to be wiped. So it's going to be a busy. Then we come back from that and we get we go back in, we start kind of a program to where it's still solid, but not like nuts, crazy, like that. Yep. So Adam, it Clarity Coat. So before we get into it, let's go ahead and explain what the product is.
Yeah. So Chris actually did a fairly good job of kind of explaining it. Clarity Coat's kind of one of those products where you have to see it to understand what it is. So I can explain here, I can sit here and explain it all day long, but you don't really know what it is until you actually see it in person. You don't understand, like your mind literally doesn't wrap around it, pun intended. But for the guys that are in the chat right now, the best way that I can describe it is we're all very aware of what vinyl wraps are. We're all very aware of what PPF is. And Clarity Coat can do both. But the way that it does both is by spraying it on instead of laying it on. So that's one of the industry terms, sprayed instead of laid. And this obviously has lots and lots and lots of advantages, which is one of them being, panels on cars aren't getting less complicated. They're getting more curves in them, more sharper angles, stuff like that. So it's really hard to do one-piece installs for vinyl wrap and PPF. Well, with Clarity Coat, what you can do is you can just simply, it doesn't matter how complicated the panel is. You just simply spray it on and then it wraps around the edges just like you normally would. And the biggest advantage that has over vinyl is the fact that if you do a color change with Clarity Coat, again, remember you could do either clear or color change. Wow. When you do a color change, it looks and feels and reacts exactly like real paint. So you can bird poop stain it, you can get water spots on it, you can polish it, you can sand it, you can do anything you want to it, and it looks and feels exactly like real paint. So if you do a normal color change on it, just say take a white car to black, you would never know that it was repainted or recolored with Clarity Coat. But the advantage to that is that you have not affected the OEM clear coat at all. We don't scuff the clear coat. All we do is just clean it so that it's really, really clean. So no waxes, sealants, ceramic coatings, anything like that. And when you go to peel it off, it's easier to peel than vinyl wrap and PPF. You can unwrap an entire car in like an hour, 2 hours, something like that. As long as you know the techniques, of course, there's tricks to everything. The edges take a little bit longer to clean up depending on how the applicator applied it on the surface. So if they did what they're supposed to, which is build just as much film at the edge as they did on the rest of the panel, it'll peel off relatively easily. Now with the clear version, you obviously get a clear version that allows you to install it on however complicated of a panel you want to without having to do it in multiple pieces, which is advantageous for some vehicles. So peelable versions of PPF or vinyl is probably the best way to put it.
That's pretty cool. Now, when you spray it on, it's probably going to be as per, each technician is going to be a little different. How thick on average are you putting it on?
The minimum thickness is 8 mils.
Oh, wow. So it's got some beef to it.
Yeah. There's a very, if everybody wants to, or if anybody in the chat is like really confused as to what the heck I'm talking about, if you go to our YouTube channel, Clarity Coat, there is a video on there of a Porsche GT3 RS that we did a color change on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And in that first 15, 30 seconds where Justin is peeling that part off the hood.
Yeah.
That one piece, we measured it. That one piece was like 13.5 mils thick.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So the setup on this, you have to have a booth.
Yes, have to have a booth.
Have to have a booth. So you've got and then longevity. Everybody's going to ask about longevity. Kind of like film.
Yeah. So longevity is kind of a tricky thing to answer because it all comes down to how you treat it, right? And how you take care of it. So, for example, we had a guy that did a color change on a Porsche and then decided to take it on a track day. And
sure.
I mean, it messed it up. Like, and
that's what it's there for.
Yep. So the important note on that is he did a color change on it and it was two very different colors. And the OEM paint underneath was completely protected. Hadn't affected the OEM paint at all, like out of all the rock chips that were on the front end. But what did happen, so ClarityCoat, if you think of it like a sandwich, you have your peelable base, you have your color coat, and then you have your clear coat over the top. The rock chips, what happened is they chipped the clear and color coat of ClarityCoat, but it didn't pierce the peelable base. So if you were to peel it, the OEM paint underneath is completely fine. No issues whatsoever. So that all is to say the longevity is basically about the same as you would get out of normal paint. So the UV inhibitors in the clear coat are basically the same exact thing as what you get an automotive grade clear coat, because for all intents and purposes, we are using automotive grade clear coat just with some magic sauce in there to make it easily peelable and stuff like that.
I dig that, man. That is so cool. When I looked it up, after I saw you, I kind of started doing some research on it. And it's just so tomorrow, Yep. I mean, it really is. I mean, you guys are way ahead of the curve. So how the heck, how'd you get into this? You got to explain. How did you go? Okay. You're sitting at your shop. You've got 4 employees. Take it from there.
Well, that's a very interesting story. So, 2018, I'm running a shop in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 3,000 square foot, 4 employees, and we're rocking and rolling. Like we're doing awesome. Let's just put it that way. And Ivan LaCroix, who I know you are very acquainted with, probably everyone in the industry at this point now is, but approached me and said, "Hey, we really like the way that your mindset and the way you're running your shop and everything. Like, we really dig that. What would you think about coming on and being a full-time regional manager for Optimum?" And I thought on it for a couple of weeks, and the reason why I accepted it, which the terms of me accepting that deal were that I had to sell the business. And the reason why really came down to really one reason only, which was I had kind of done what I wanted to with the car detailing business. And there really at that point, it was just about rinsing and repeating over and over and over again. Now, to some of the guys in this group, this is going to be sacrilegious, but it was the business was literally to the point where I only needed to come in for 4 hours a day at most. Basically 2 hours in the morning to check everyone in, 2 hours at the end of the day to check everyone out. And that was it. I could do whatever I wanted to during the day. So, and the best part about that was I left for like a week and a half, I think, to Canada to go to training with Ivan. And the whole shop, I gave my guys the option. I said, we can either schedule a light week and you guys, just basically to where we maintain revenue and everything like that, or we can operate the shop like we normally would, and you guys, it's up to you to run it. Well, these guys stepped up and said, nope, we want to see if we can run it without you. And so we scheduled work as usual. And I was the one that had to call them. and it was once per day. And normally that's the question, or when they picked up, they were like, why the hell are you calling us? Like,
that's cool.
We're fine. Like, and when I got back, the shop was cleaned up. All the chemicals were refilled. All the customers were paid for. Everyone was happy. Like at that point, I was like, I've done what I wanted to, right?
Wow.
So at that point, the way I looked at Optimum was I was stepping up my skill set. I was going to that next level. So I sold the business and started working as a regional manager for Optimum. And without kind of getting into the weeds too much, I discovered the reason why I don't like working for other people all over again. And I basically reconfirmed the fact that I can't work for other people. That was actually the year that I met you at SEMA. And for anybody who maybe doesn't know Renny or has never met him in person, I can tell you that Renny is 1000% the same person he is outside of Facebook and social medias and everything like that. He's the same person in real life. I was walking around SEMA. It was early. I think it was first or second day of SEMA. And you spotted me. You said, "Hey, get over here." And we just hung out and talked. And that was it. Like, you had PNS, and I think you were at the Flex booth as well. Like, I think it was kind of like a combined booth type thing, if I remember right. And I was at the Optimum booth, and it was just one of those things where even though we worked for competitive companies, it's a brotherhood, man. Like, we're all doing the same thing. We're making cars shiny and selling product. Like, that's it at the end of the day. But anyways, end of 2018, I had kind of had enough of working for someone else and wanted to again go and do something else. My business partner, you guys, everyone in here might not know this, but my now business partner with ClarityCoat, Justin Pollington Woods, is actually a native UK guy. He lives in London. And at that point in time in my life, I was up at 4:30 every single morning. And so with the time difference, he's up as well. So we would just have almost daily chats and get to know each other and everything like that. Well, when the time came for ClarityCoat to come around, it was really an easy decision for me. Justin had all the contacts in the industry. He knew every manufacturer making the product out there. He had all the global contacts. So it was a no-brainer. I was basically going to be providing support for him to do his thing. And so we had a sample made of our product, checked out. We loved it, started ClarityCoat, and then put in my resignation for Optimum almost exactly 1 year to the day that when I started it.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. So going forward, so what's your background before detailing? So where'd you start? Where'd you start cutting your teeth on business and being hungry for building stuff?
Well, great question. That's actually kind of goes right back to I can't work for other people. I went to college. I went to a 2-year technical university for diesel technologies. So I was learning how to be a diesel mechanic. And I love wrenching on stuff, but I don't have that mindset. I so much respect to those guys that can wrench and figure stuff out and do whatever. So at that point in time, I was working on semis and, doing mechanic stuff. And I just wasn't happy. I just wasn't doing what I was really unfulfilled. Let's put it that way. Felt like a cog in the machine. And I quit wrenching and I went to work for a construction company laying water main for the city of Pierre, which is where I was living. My wife and I, we were trying to pay down some debt, some student loan debt. And she decided to get a second job. And I looked at the situation. I was like, why in the world would I get a second job where I have to keep to someone else's schedule? And I can earn just as much money detailing cars on the side as I would working for someone else. So we took $700 out of savings and I bought some detailing supplies and I just started grinding, man. And that's kind of where my love for marketing actually started, was because I realized that, okay, for every detailer that is in here right now, if you are not taking pictures and video of every car that comes through your shop, you're being dumb. Because that's all it took. I just took pictures and videos of the cars that I was cleaning, added a little story to it, posted it in Facebook groups, and it just blew up. It just went bonkers. I went from doing 40 hours a week at my full-time job, and that was it, to doing 40 hours a week at my full-time construction job and 40 hours a week detailing. Every single night, I would load up everything in the back end of a pickup. I'd go and detail a car that night, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, 12, 14-hour days of detailing a car. And then my wife and I decided to make it a full-time deal when we moved down to Sioux Falls, and I just went at it. But again, the way I built that market in Sioux Falls, which is 3.5 hours away from Pierre, was taking photos and videos and putting out there what I knew about the industry, and people ate it up. They loved it. They just loved seeing it.
Marketing to your audience. You weren't marketing to other detailers. You know,
No.
it cracks me up to see that, because I repeat myself all the time, but if we were plumbers, if detailers' mentality was plumbers, we'd have a bunch of plumbers with pictures of toilets. You know, it's like, God, I don't get it. I mean,
if you want to know the ridiculousness of the usual detailing mindset, think of a plumber and think of like the slow-mo techno music, and he's taking his PVC glue and he's putting it on the pipe and sliding them in together.
Yeah.
And then like panning out for a full plumbing job. Like that's ridiculous. Like who's going to do that?
You got to tell a story, and you got to tell it to the right audience. So you're talking to your audience. So this is going to be a loaded question, this next one. It's 3 parts.
I like loaded questions.
What are you seeing in the industry? So let's take it the first one, 3 parts. Okay, what are you seeing in the industry past? And your past isn't as deep. So this is kind of cool because you're going back to 2015. You know, and let's face it, a lot's changed since 2015. I mean,
oh yeah,
we don't look like the same industry. You know, I mean, we've changed a lot. I mean, we do. They still got, again, you know, the plumber with the glue and looking sexy, and it's kind of squirting out the pipe and they put it together. And there's some cool shit out there, but I shouldn't be watching it. You know, there's people that are in New Hampshire that I'm seeing their videos because they've boosted it nationwide, and it's like, man, if you would have spent that same money in a micro section, you'd be killing it. So let's go back to 2015 in your past. What did you see back then that was problematic in the industry? What did you take advantage of? There's obviously other detailers in your market.
Oh yeah.
So how did you start moving up and they didn't?
Easiest way to answer that is I put out educational content. So people really, really, really overthink this a lot. Actually, I've got a good example for you, Renny. You will absolutely love this. I was just talking to a gentleman today who sells vintage hunting gear.
Oh, wow.
And he was asking me, he's like, what do I got to do to get out there more? And I said, TikTok, 100%. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to do the renegade and like dance with my shirt off. And I said, fuck that noise. Sorry for, oh wait, I forgot. We can't cuss.
Yeah, you got your one in.
Yep. I was like, take photos and video, take your old photos and videos of stuff that you've sold and do a video about what was important about that piece. What is so important about a $5,000 dagger, or what's so important about a $10,000 pistol from the 1800s? Like, why was someone willing to spend that money on it? Because that story, that information is cool. People love hearing about that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same way with detailing. Literally, the only thing I did was when I would clay bar a car, I would say, here's the reason why I'm clay barring the car. Here's what clay barring does for your vehicle. And I would do blog posts on it. I would do Facebook Lives. I would do videos or whatever. People make this way overcomplicated. And the second thing that I run into the detailing industry is people think, well, nobody wants to hear that. Oh, really? Let me tell you about a little channel called Ammo NYC. Let me tell you about a little girl on TikTok who's got millions of followers. Literally, all she does is show off what she's doing, why she's doing it, and that's it. People love seeing people do their thing. They love it. They might not even understand what the hell you're saying, but they love seeing your passion come through and you explaining that thing. So don't overcomplicate. That's what I did. I put educational content out. Here's what detailing is, and this is why I'm charging $100 for a car wash.
So
that's it.
So back then in the past, was your competition doing the same thing?
No.
Did they start copying you?
A little bit, but
There's my point. A little bit. They're not going to be able to keep up with you.
No, because I don't know if you know this, Renny, but I'm kind of a charismatic guy. People like me, you know?
Yeah. I kind of had it right when we met,
So it's hard to hard to copy charisma. It's hard to copy that thing that you have that people just are attracted to.
Knock you off because you're you.
No. In fact, on that note, I wouldn't say I was so confident or overconfident, but here's what I would do when I was hiring guys and they kind of made it through the second phase of hiring or interviewing. Sorry, not hiring. One of the very first things I would say is on their very first day of work, I'd sit them down and I say, this is a 3-year job. You should not be here after 3 years. What do I need to do to make you a better person when you're leaving than when you came in here? What do you want to learn? Guess what? Some of them wanted to learn how the business operated. And I said, I will teach you everything you need to know about how this business operates. And I am incredibly proud to say that 2 of my former employees went off to go start their own detailing businesses in which they are extremely profitable and they are doing very well for themselves.
Oh yeah, that's a great outlook on it. Don't treat people, don't keep them down, build them up.
Yep.
And listen, and cut the guys that aren't made of that, get rid of them. They shouldn't be there or they're seasonal. You just can't have it. Once they're in competition with you, no good, man. No good.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing now? What's going on in the industry? You happy with what you're seeing?
I'll be honest. I'm not in the detailing Facebook groups for lots of different reasons.
Yeah.
One, ClarityCoat is not a detailer's. 99% of detailers are not going to do ClarityCoat. I wanted to come onto this podcast because I enjoy talking to you. So that's the main reason.
But you know what I like about this, of bringing you on here, is I think that for the progressive detailers that are looking for the next thing, you're one of the next thing. I dig it. I think if you got a shop and you want to think ahead, what's one of the biggest challenges of laying film? Learning how to lay film. Yep. I owned a window tinting company. I can lay PPF, but I'm not very good at it. I guarantee you I can spray it a lot better than I can lay it. Yep. So there's an audience that you're speaking to, and I dig it. I think it's a great opportunity. Okay, so sorry. Back to present. What are you seeing? What do you wish you could shake around on? What are you seeing good?
From the little bit that I've seen, I'm actually seeing more people come into the industry that are a little bit more business minded. Obviously, there's still the guys out there that are going to sit there and argue about which freaking ceramic coating is the best or which rinseless wash is the best. You're always going to have that in any industry. You're never going to get rid of that. But I do see a lot of people doing 2 things. One, coming in and they're worried about optimizing their business and making it way more efficient. I'm seeing a heck of a lot more software nowadays, which is great. In 2018, nobody will believe this, and they'll think I'm just being egotistical. But what Urable and Orbis X and those softwares are doing, I was already doing back in 2018. However, I had to take 4 or 5 different programs that they all had to talk to each other and sync from this one to this one to this one. So I'm seeing a lot more softwares that are making business a lot more efficient, which is great for the industry.
Oh yeah. You got Road FS. They were in my shop, believe it or not, up in Idaho in 2004. I mean, these guys were already ahead, but the audience wasn't there. They weren't listening. We were still carving out wheels out of stone, and they're squared off.
Yep.
We just couldn't get people to run on round wheels that were rubber,
Yep.
and it was an uphill battle. So it is. I agree. And then moving ahead, I'm gonna say this. I think that and again, I've had people, you know what, you're not being optimistic. No, I'm being real. I think the economy's starting to slow. I think we're seeing that. What are you seeing? What's your kind of warning to people, and what's your upside to people? I think there's gonna be 2 sides of it.
Yeah,
80-20 split.
I don't know if I could actually give you a good answer as to what the potential downsides are. Where the detailing industry specifically is heading. But what I can say is that I'm seeing a whole lot more diversification. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot more shops bring in PPF. I'm seeing a lot more shops bring in vinyl, window tint, and everything like that. Which, to be honest with you, so I actually started up another detailing business. It's called Phantom Detailing. And Okay, I guess if you're ready for a hot take, I'll give you a hot take. We have been hearing a lot about employee struggles, hiring the right people and everything like that. And a lot of people blame Gen Z for being lazy or, whatever. I couldn't disagree more. I've got 2 kids in my garage right now that they wanted to start their own detailing business. And I said, hey, I've already kind of got something started here. I will give you ownership in the company. I'll start off small. If we hit revenue targets, the business is yours. I'm going to build it up to where all I want is just a residual every single month. That's it. That's the only thing I want. And these kids are hustling.
They are.
Because they have something to work towards.
Yep.
And now, is that a good fit for every company out there? No, but I'm telling you, if you guys are having a labor shortage, you got to find a different way other than just paying them. Period. End of story.
Amen. You can't make it just about money. This generation's, I think, we're seeing the same thing in training. There's some, listen, the laziness is in all generations. It's across the board now, man. This little thing right here is just a brain sucker, it's funny because my big brother, my older brother, was at dinner not too long ago, and I had to tell him to put his phone down at the table like 4 times. I felt like, even our teenage daughter wasn't that bad. I was like, tell him, dude, put your phone away. We're eating dinner. Hello, we're right here. And I even find myself, I got to put the damn thing down, right? And so, hey, will coating sales be affected? You take the downturn? I watched 08 happen. Coatings were around. What do you think? A lot of shops have built. Again, there's no diversification. They're 100% targeted towards paint correction and laying down coating. What's going to happen?
I've always thought that was a really dumb way to do a business. Honestly, you're going after people that do that. If you want to run a shop that is solely dependent on you, great. Do your thing. However, shops that do just paint corrections and coatings, it is so difficult to replicate your level of what you're looking for over and over and over and over again to multiple different employees. You might get lucky. You might find 2, maybe 3 guys that can do that same thing. But it's very difficult to do boutique auto detailing.
Absolutely.
Now, if you start bringing on the lower end of services, you'll actually find that you make more money. And if you build out a good SOP system, you don't have to do any of the work. Right.
Well, it's pretty interesting in our mafia. I took a survey a couple of weeks ago and was asking people, hey, who's compounding on a daily basis? And even in our own group, we were blown away on how many just aren't. Is how many are hitting $100, $150, $200 an hour, and just they're delivering what the customer wants, and they're not hung up on perfection. And I like best, you just nailed it, is I can reduplicate. If somebody doesn't need to touch a polisher, I can pay them really good money. I can make good money off of them. I can have happy customers. And I've got a shop that's going to be, I won't say it's recession proof, but it's pretty recession proof. And it's bad staff proof. As long as I'm willing to pay a decent wage and have a great culture, have a great environment, give them opportunities, treat them like a human, all those good things that I know you're talking about. You're brilliant. How old are you?
33.
Oh, dude, I would say this. You know who else was 33? This was a reality check for me. Chris, do you know what I'm going to say?
I think so, but don't test me on it.
I woke up the day I turned 33, and I humbled myself because I was pretty successful, right? And I said, you know what, dude, check your ego, because there's a dude that was 33 that died on the cross that the Bible talks about, that thousands of years after he passed away, the dude's a household name. I don't care where you're from or, you talk about him. I ain't shit.
Yeah.
I ain't shit. You're such an amazing age, dude. You have no clue. And to be as wise as you are, is you got to spread that like a virus, is if you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s, you got to listen to this dude's attitude right now. And how many hours? Okay. And this is going to be honest with me. How many hours a week on a bad week? How many hours a week do you work on an average week? What do you work? And what's your ideal schedule?
Man, that's a
setting you up.
No, you're not setting me up. It's just it's a slightly difficult question to answer. I would have really loved to have gone back and talked about the the going after higher ticket jobs, but we can save that for another time.
Yeah, we can get that back on.
No, it's fine.
It's not that we don't have any, it's not that we don't get along and present well,
Yeah. So the thing I want to make people aware of is when you are first starting off in a business, doesn't matter what the business is, you're going to have to get in there. You're going to have to get dirty. You're going to have to work 12, 14, 16-hour days. It's just the way that it is. Like, you just have to get in there. But the great thing is since I had already kind of built a business outside of myself, meaning I gave it to other people were doing the laborious work, the actual pay per hour type work. I knew that I was going to build stuff in a way that shortcutted. I just need to do these things now so that I can get it to the point where other people can start to do the work for me. And I don't know if I've heard this term before, or I doubt I came up with it, but I like to call it time multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
ClarityCoat just made its first hire, in which we hired a virtual assistant. And the only thing that the way that we hired that person was Justin and I listed out the things that we don't like doing and then said, what's that worth to us to hire that out, to give it to someone? So the amount of work that I do nowadays, so for Phantom, it's literally just me answering the phone, scheduling jobs. That's it. I don't do any of the detailing. So let's just say 5-6 hours a week, something like that, is what that is. Now for ClarityCoat, I would say that I'm still very much so full-time. Like, I'm working 10-12 hours a week, but I'm trying to do things to get it to the point where
time out.
Oh.
10 to 12 hours a week's not.
Sorry, 10 to 12 hours a day. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say, hold on. Okay, so you're still cranking it, but you're at build stage,
Yes,
so just
we're at growth stage.
You backed off. You didn't pump the brakes. Matter of fact, the accelerator is still going. You just had it on cruise control, and we're hitting that, speed up button, right?
Yep.
Without you having to control it, you'll be there in this business too. That's cool. What's your ideal? What would you like to do? Ideally, what's your dream work? I know it. I know my answer, and I've never really shared this. But what would be your dream day? How many hours a day? So,
I like working. I like building business. That's what I like to do. Somebody asked me the other day, like, what hobbies do you have? And I was like, literally, like, I don't have a hobby. Like, I like building shit. That's what I like doing. Yeah. So do I want to work 12, 14 hours a day and really hard work? No. But building up other people, like I did with my guys before, that's what I enjoy doing. Cool. I like building something that I can give people the marketing department, and then they do cool stuff with it and doing that kind of stuff. So ideally for me, I just want to work on high level stuff. Hey, this is where the business needs to be. We want to go after, right now we're trying to get into China and Japan. That's a big, hairy, audacious goal. How do we do it? And that's what I want to have a team of people around me that I say, we're going after China. How do we do it? And then working towards that in whatever way sees fit. So I don't know if that's not a great answer. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, but it's it now. Okay, I'm going to give you a challenge as a young dude. Get it. Okay, so for instance, 55 years old, I started riding a horse for the first time in 28 years. What it's done
Come to South Dakota, buddy.
What it's done for my business and for my mind is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It's something new. All the other hobbies I've done, skiing, I've done my whole life. I still love it. It's an art, but I hate to say it, it's not challenging anymore. I mean, there's a run. I'll turn on some AC/DC, and I'll go down to double black, and it's challenging for that 1 minute or 2 minutes or 30, whatever it is. And I remember the first time I got on my horse and was taking a lesson, I had to get off because I had an attitude. I'm not used to being the new guy. I'm not used to being green. Yep. And what it did is it really kept me humbled of what people that are coming into industry, that are coming on to entrepreneurship, they've never been in that saddle before. So I got off the horse, and then I'll never forget that the coach, the instructor, was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm humbling myself so I can listen to you, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I've got to get my mind clear to really listen to you, and you build me up." Unbelievable experience. And what it's done is really help propel me and keep me healthy, and there's other interests. I mean, there's constants, there is. But that's the challenge I would for you being young is get something else that's behind the scenes that's propelling you and gets those freaking atoms going and everything going in your body and the excitement level, and it just because what it will do is it'll translate into business too. Okay, any good books? What's your favorite? Give me a short list, 2 or 3 books.
You'll like this. Hold on.
Oh, look at that.
Jocko Go.
There you go. Oh, God, dude, is that a guy amazing? It's one of my top books, man.
Oh man. If you are leading a team of people, there is no better set of books than Extreme Ownership, Dichotomy of Leadership, stuff like that. I've got another one right here, which is Gary V, which is Crushing It.
Yep. Great book.
Marketing. Simon Sinek is a good one. Basically anything by Simon Sinek, anything by Gary V, anything by Jocko. And then there's another one too, but I can't.
Coggins Can't Hurt Me. You read that one yet?
I haven't. It's amazing how often I get recommended that, and I don't know why, but I don't vibe with David Goggins very well, and I don't have any hate towards him or anything like that. I don't know,
relationship thing.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing to see what he went through. It's a harder read than Jocko's books, but man, just the guy's story is insane. So what's next? Okay, so you talked about China, Japan. You got big goals. How important is that to you to keep you fresh? Because those setting those big goals.
I would say that's probably the thing for me. If I'm not working towards something, I feel I'm really dissatisfied. I get real grumpy. I get real down on myself. You said that you kind of have taken up horse riding or horseback riding. Olympic lifting is kind of like that thing for me. Olympic lifting is a brutally technical sport. And so you have to get at it. You have to stay at it every single day for muscle memory and everything like that. And it's something that you can never achieve. Like you can, oh yeah.
There you go.
You can't conquer it. So
tell this shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy on your body. There's no doubt about it, but I don't know. I have to have big goals like that to work towards.
That's killer. So, hey, how do people reach you? How do they find you?
You can find me Instagram, adam.huber.claritycoat. Oh, you've already got the links down there.
Yep.
That's probably one of the better ways to reach me. You can check us out, claritycoat.com. That's where our website is. We're going through a rebuild here in the next couple of weeks. So I would say you can check it out now, but it's going to get completely rebuilt in a couple of weeks.
I would say go check you out on YouTube. That Porsche, recolor is pretty cool. Now give what to do.
Adam, I know we're getting close to the end of the hour, but maybe real quick you can answer this. I don't think we've had a guest on who's maybe had this perspective yet. I mean, I know Renny's had it, but you built up a detailing business, then you sold it, and now you've got one again. Second time.
Oh no.
Chris, you locked it up.
Dang it! He was fine this entire time.
Well, Adam, thanks for coming on, dude. We're gonna have you back on because I want to have the discussion about staffing. I think that'd be a really cool discussion between the two of us because we've got, again, look at I don't ever, even when I was really young, I never looked at somebody that was my age and said, hey, that's an old dude. I think I always brought up that was disrespectful, and nobody even had to tell me that. I looked at, I grew up when I was young, the guys that were my age were the World War II vets. That's the last thing I'm going to tell somebody of that. I looked at it as wisdom. And so wise eyes versus youthful eyes, as you'll say, young eyes. I think, and especially in a guy like you, I think that is an absolute tragedy to call you young. I think that it's youthful. And youth brings prosperity to us. Youth brings freshness to us. And then wisdom brings exactly that. You become wise by watching both the good and the bad and the ugly of the people that came before you. And so I'd love to get you back on. And hey, Roger, Wyoming, sorry we missed you, dude. I love this thing. I love the cap, so I wanted to wear it to you. Buddy of mine was down here, and we didn't know when he was going to show up, and we found this on our door and we missed him. We were out riding, and unfortunately didn't get to see him. So Adam, hey, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, dude. And stay in contact. Let's bring you back on to talk about staffing. So stay healthy, dude. Don't work too hard. Take a break. Go. We got to lift sometime. I'd love to lift with you.
No, you'll wreck me. I promise. I'm still learning.
It's your old body, you know. It's pretty beat up. So I embarrass myself now when I do the bench press. You know, it's like, oh my god. You know,
bench has always been my worst lift, which is really funny because, you know, like when you have a big chest and shoulders and everyone expects you to bench like a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the best I ever benched was like 225, but my deadlift and squat were always way better.
Yeah, that's the squat. I was about 600. I tapped out about 600, 411 on bench competition. And then, right. It was, can't do that now. I was showing off of just about 2 years ago. I was showing off and had 365 on, did it for a rep. And then, you know, the ego got to me. I did it for a second one and popped one shoulder for that one. So, well, hey, you take care, man. God bless. Thanks for coming in. We'll get you back on, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, man, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the discussion. We'll see you, bud.